Hey guys, and welcome to one more episode of Builder Nation. For today's interview, we have Prasanna. Prasanna, I cannot pronounce your last name, so if you can please help me out.
I'm Prasanna Krishnasamy, and I'm the Director of Perception here at Trifo. And Trifo is a home robotics company. We are working on vacuum cleaners for the home. And I'm really happy to be here. I'm basically a computer vision engineer working here at Trifo, and then recently I've also been managing our perception team. So we are doing vacuum cleaners, and we're trying to make smart robots that can make your life easier at home. So we are coming up with a lot of innovations in how to make it more economical and how do we make the robot itself, go longer and be more efficient.
I know that we've talked before, but our audience doesn't really know as much about the company. And I was going through the website and I saw the robots you guys have. I think the models are amazing. So maybe can you talk a little bit about them, about each one?
Yeah, so we have 3 robots in our lineup. We have the Lucy Ultra, and then we have Ollie, and we have Emma. So Lucy is the highest end robot that we have. So it has an RGB camera and a depth camera. So that helps it avoid obstacles and not get stuck in the home. It is also able to map your house so that you get a very efficient clean. And then Ollie also is our pet-focused robot. Our Emma is our most economical version that is very good for small homes. So those are our 3 robots that we are selling.
I'm curious to ask, is there a specific reason behind each name?
I actually don't know the reasons.
I mean, that's great as well. I mean, some companies, the other day I was talking with the CEO of Rock Systems. They are building satellites. And he was telling me that they also named their products, which I think is really interesting, especially in the robotics, in the aerospace. I think that's great.
I think names make it very approachable.
Yeah. Totally. And I think it's also like a matter of making them real,
Yeah.
So it gets closer to people. So I think that's great. Talking about the beginning of the company, if we can put it like that, how do you think the clients are? Was it hard in order to find the product market fit?
Initially, the company's journey has been starting as something that was a licensing business, and then eventually figuring out a vertical that they wanted to get into. I joined the company after they had made the decision to go toward robot vacuums and home robots. So the journey was more, what are things that we can add to the market? So our approach was, we can make the robot cheaper by getting different sensors. So instead of a LiDAR, we have a depth camera.
And I mean, I'm curious to ask, I've never heard about their role. I mean, we've never had this role before at the podcast, the director of perception. So Can you maybe talk a little bit about your day-to-day? What are your main tasks?
Yeah, definitely. So the perception on the robots that we're working on is mainly obstacle avoidance. So if you have obstacles lying around in the house, you don't want to get stuck on them. And then that means the robot cannot be autonomous. One of our projects is to avoid obstacles. And so we use the perception for that. And the other one is, how do we navigate within the house? How do you find the dock? How do you automatically figure out how to charge, when to go back, etc. So we work closely with planning, the planner for the robot, and how do you clean the house optimally. And then the other thing is, how do you build a map? As the robot explores around the house, you want to get a floor map, for example, your living room, your bedroom, your kitchen. How do you identify which place you are in currently, and how much cleaning have you done so far? So we try to give all that information on the app so that the user is able to understand how much cleaning is done.
I saw your TikTok, guys, and I think that it's really incredible what the robot can do. It's basically, I mean, it's getting all the job done. I know that you mentioned that you're an engineer, right? Since the beginning. So now that you're in this role, how close are you with the engineers, talking day to day?
Very close, I would say. We're a very small team, so we have to kind of manage different roles at the same time. So I'm very close with the engineers. I still do a lot of programming and testing the robots. Also, we have to be aware of what customer feedback is and how do we prioritize our feature requests that are coming in. Like for example, if you want to avoid some part of the house, or if you don't want it to go into a particular room, like we have features for all of that. And so doing all that, I think we work with our engineers and we prioritize which features are most important. I'm very closely involved with a lot of engineering efforts.
Wow, that's great. And I mean, we're talking about robotics, right? That it's hardware. So what would you say is the biggest technical challenge or challenge in general that you guys have managed to solve?
I think integration itself is like getting the software and the hardware and the cameras to work, I think is a huge challenge itself. And then we have a lot of smart AI capabilities on the robots. We have an ability to understand the environment very well, like which room you're in and how do you organize the cleaning. So technically, I feel we're very strong on the AI aspects, and then how do you make perception from noisy camera input. So yeah, we are very strong in the integration, AI, and all the related tasks.
So,
right.
I mean, talking about purchasing, that it's been a problem in the hardware industry.
Yeah.
How do you manage that? I mean, is it only on the engineering side, or do you have something to do in your role with the purchasing?
Yeah, so those are like, especially with respect to the cameras, we had a lot of vendors we were evaluating. So there are engineers on the team who are very good at that. So we rely on them for all of those evaluations. We had a lot of issues with battery during the pandemic because all of the bigger players were, taking a lot of inventory for the battery. But we managed to come through it. Here we are after the pandemic. Yeah, we're able to survive that way. So we have a great team. I think all the credit goes to them. And we're just trying to set right priorities. How do we, get the right parts for the right robots to be made?
And I mean, talking about you, I wanted to ask you, like, what would you say is the best part of the job?
I think robotics is really an exciting part for me. Like just to put your algorithms on a robot and see it move, and the fact that you could be, part of a lot of people's homes and make life easier for them. So that's also really exciting. I was part of all the obstacle avoidance efforts, and the fact that the robot runs on hundreds of thousands of homes now, and we are able to see that people have a difference.
And one of the last questions, what would you say are the next step for Trifo?
We have some exciting new robots that we're working on. So we already have certain functionalities on Lucy. Like we are able to do mopping as well. So we have a small mopping attachment that goes on the bottom of Lucy. So it can be both a suction vacuum and a mopping vacuum. But we are building more exciting features like that. So stay tuned, and in the coming year, we'll have more to announce.
Excited to see those. And the last question: do you have any advice for future engineers or directors starting on this robotics path?
I think home robotics is a very exciting space. The thing that is exciting is that I think other than the basic vacuum, nobody's really figured out how home automation has to work, or like what is the right, like it's not like a software service. Space is really new. And I think that is both an exciting thing and kind of a scary thing. So I feel like my advice would be to explore and talk to a lot of customers, build a lot of things, talk to your customers, and don't be afraid to change your direction based on the feedback. Sometimes we just cannot foresee that certain features are important or not. Yeah, and then stay positive, persevere, and hope for the best. Yeah, it's a fun journey. So I think you should enjoy the journey, I think.
That's it. I mean, thank you so much, Prasanna, for being here, for sharing your experiences. Where can we find you? Where can people find the company?
We are on Trifo.com. So if you go there, we have all our social media handles there. TikTok, Instagram, Amazon, all the links are there. We are Trifo Robotics on TikTok and Instagram. We have a great marketing team, so you have a lot of fun videos there as well.
And remember, guys, that you can also find more information, interesting articles, interesting interviews just like this one with Prasanna, directly on our website, controlhub.com/filler-nation. We would love to hear from you. And once again, Prasanna, thank you so much for being here. It was great to hear your experience and to get to know Trifo.
Thank you for having me. It was great talking to you.